This is a Stokke Crusi, and we often get asked the question as to whether one can put Trailz wheels, that is the terrain wheels that have an inner tube, on the Crusi. And the answer is yes and no. So yes you can, but you need to make a small alteration in relation to the back wheels. The front wheels will just slot right in place. And that's because the front end of the Crusi is the same as the front end of the Trailz. Now of course they've recently redesigned the front wheels, but those should come with small suspension pads if you buy them as a kit, and those you can screw into the front frame of a Crusi the same way you would do on a Trailz. We have another video showing those newer front wheels. Now, when it comes to the back wheels, I'll just remove this. You can see that it won't just slot in as it is. It won't lock in place. And the reason for this is that this little peg, you can see it here, and you can see it here, it's at a different position than it is on the Trailz in relation to this little notch. So in order to get the Trailz wheels then on the Crusi, you simply need to remove that little plastic peg. And I've done it on this wheel here. There it is. I normally use a Dremel for doing something like this, but you can actually do it just with an X-Acto knife, especially if you heat up the blade a little bit. And once you remove that little peg, you'll see, you can now just slide the wheel and it'll lock nicely into place. And you might be worried a little bit about stability, but that little peg is going to have very little effect on stability because the entire top end of that bit that fits into the back frame is angled to slot into that slot quite nicely. So, holds it on nice and tight. So, that's how you would fit Trailz or terrain wheels on a Crusi. This same process can be useful if you have an older Crusi and you want to use newer Crusi wheels, because on the older Crusi it didn't have that little peg. So if you're going to buy new wheels for an older Crusi and you don't have the slot for that, then you again just going to want to slice off that little plastic piece, and then it will slot in and function as proper. If you are, by contrast, using have a Trailz and you want to put on this sort of inner tube, non-inflated wheel on your Trailz, you can actually buy classic wheels for the Trailz. But if for some reason you wanted to do Crusi, again, you would just cut off the peg because it wouldn't slot into the same slot as it would on the Trailz. So that was kind of a simple little fix, but we hope it has been helpful. If it has been, we ask you to subscribe as it helps us to continue making videos in the future. Thank you.